Galactic Police Force Nova Corps. Yep, I'm priceless.
Alright, so I'm going to be showing you how to build a quick little collection game here. And so starting off, we're going to, first I like to add the collectible objects, which I don't have my items sorted, so you may see me flipping around to look for things. It may take me a little while to get there, but I do find them. So we're going to start off, and let's say we're going to add 2 collectible items. One we're going to add to our counter, and the second one we're going to subtract from the counter. So if you get a teapot, it's going to be +1. If you get a teacup, we're going to make it -1. So you can add more than 2. This is just a quick little tutorial showing you how to kind of add to them and make them flash off and on. It doesn't have to be a counter either. I use a counter in this example, but it can be like a timer, and when you collect an item, you can make it add 5 seconds or subtract 5 seconds, really whatever you want. So right now I'm switching to the counter. So, and I know what the icons look like, so I kind of flip through pretty quick. So here's my counter. Alright, so the first thing we want to do is we want to check the properties of the counter. The default's 2. We're going to switch it to 5 just so it's a quick little example. Nothing, that we have to really do to end the challenge. So I like to leave the visible counter on so people know when they're collecting them, if it's adding to the count or removing. So that was why I left the visible count on. Now what we'll have to do is we'll have to go out of this screen and we'll go to the actual collected objects. And I'm just double checking to make sure the counter was 5. So we'll go ahead. Alright, so the options are how we want it. Now we go over to our item. We're going to go to the new logic connection on this. And we're going to do broken or collected. So when they're broken or collected, what we're going to do is we're going to either add 1 or subtract 1. So for the teacup, we're going to make it subtract 1. So we're going to go ahead and click decrease instead of increment. Which I was originally talking during the video and it didn't record it, so I had to go back and add a commentary overlay, so that's why there's pauses and stuff like this. This is really my first time actually doing a tutorial video. So now then, we're going to the second one. When it's broken or collected, we're going to do the opposite of what we did for the other one. So this one we're making it increment, and the teacup was decrease. Now what we're going to add is, I believe we're going to add the timer. So he should be switching to the timer any second. Actually, not the timer, but the delay timer. So, and as I said, I was actually talking through the original video, but for some reason it didn't record my voice. So now I'm going back over and adding a overlay commentary. As I said, this was my first time. So here's the delay counter. We're adding it. And we actually need 2. One to tell it when it's completed to show the item. And then another one for when it's completed to hide the item. So we'll go to the first one, and what we want to do is check the properties, because we want to see the delay time. I like to use 5 seconds, so after 5 seconds it's either going to show the item or hide the item. And when I say show, what the actual property of the item will be reset. So we'll go over to the delay completed, and then we'll go to the item. And we'll either reset it to make it visible, which we just did that one, so you reset it. And then for this one, I believe we do, when the delay is completed, we're going to hide it. So this means after 5 seconds, it's going to disappear. Now the timer, we're going to set it about, usually I do 3 to 5 seconds, depending how many items you have and how many collections you need. If it's not very many, you can leave the timers low so that they flash on and off pretty quickly. And I set it to 5, so I'm going to set this one to 8. So there's about 3 seconds that it's visible, and then it disappears. And then 3 seconds it's gone, and then it comes back. So here we are, we're switching the timer to 8. And then when the delay is completed, we're going to go to the object. And I believe this one we hid, so we're resetting it now. And I couldn't remember what I did this one, so I checked the properties to see if it was visible or hidden. So it shows that it's reset by default. So when this timer completes, we're going to make it hidden. So delay completed, we're going to go and we're going to hide it. And here I am just checking the settings to make sure that they were correct. I was just making sure that one of them, as you can see, I had set reset for both, so that item would have stayed visible the whole time. Now what we got to do is we got to set a repeater, because we got to tell this to keep going until either the challenge is completed, or we quit the challenge, or we failed the challenge, whatever it may be. So we set it to repeat, and we're going to start the delay, and then we'll turn repeat again, the new logic connection repeat, to the other timer. So both timers are going to be repeated when the repeater turns on. So, and you can leave the repeater at 5. It doesn't affect it too much unless you get larger numbers, like if you want it to disappear faster or anything like that. So 5 is fine. Now we're going to drop the challenge maker so that we can actually start the challenge. So we just flip into the challenge maker. Alright, now then we're going to go to the properties of the challenge maker. And actually we go to the counter first. And we'll go to new logic. When the count is completed, target reached, we're going to complete the game. Alright, so now then, when the challenge is started, so new logic connection, game started, we're going to turn on our repeater, on, and then we're going to turn on both of the other counters. Not really counters, but the time delayers. Alright, so that's done. Now, one thing you want to do too is when the challenge is failed or ended, all three of those, ended, completed, or failed, you will want to go and have it set the repeater off and your timers off. If not, your items are going to continually blink even if the challenge is inactive. Like if they started it and then failed, or started it and quitted, it's going to basically keep going after everything's done. So, which is going to use memory and stuff like that. So if you have scenes or anything like additional that's going to happen after this challenge is completed, it's going to use some memory because they're going to be, those functions are going to be running, the timers and stuff like that. So, and I just cut a few of them off. I didn't do all of it because it takes kind of long to do it to every one of them. But now we should be able to start the challenge, and you should be able to see them flash on and off, and I'll demonstrate that it adds one and removes one. So just as you can see. And you can also add a locator, so when you start your challenge, you're not facing the wrong way like I did. Like I said, I threw this together really quickly, so I wasn't paying attention to how stuff was going down. But as you can see, they're both visible when the timer completes. One of them disappeared. Now it's back. As you can see, they'll flip-flop. And I'm going to demonstrate getting them in just a second. Like I said, I was originally talking, so I was standing here telling about it as it was happening. So, alright, we collected the teapot, so it's 1. We collected another teapot, so there's 2. Now then we collect the teacup, so we lost 1. So, it's functioning correctly. Like I said, you can add as many of those as you want, just you have to connect it to everything like we did these two. And it does take a long time, but it's worth it. It does make a fun little mini game, and I believe that is the Toy Box Challenge for this week. So that's pretty much all there is to it. If you got any questions, comment or go to the Reddit post where I originally posted this and let me know. Thanks.